record on this computer. There we go. Recording. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, introductions, as always. Right. I am Rose. I am one of the co-founders of Demiurgic, and I am from the US.
I'm Kargara. I'm a member of Demiurgic and also from US, living in Portugal.
And let's see, tonight we are talking about the Oscars. We kind of talked about like the nominees a little bit in our February hangout that time with Crosscourt and Kargara. And this time we're talking about the winners and kind of what we think about who actually won and things like that. So do you need the website, Kargara, or
the winners list? I have it here.
Yeah, but okay. I just pulled up the Oscars website, so I have it all too. So
I'm on EW.com. Yeah.
Oh, Entertainment Weekly. Okay.
Well, that's what that means.
Yeah, Entertainment Weekly.
It's so much I follow these things.
Yeah. Okay, so I didn't put my glasses back on. Oh well, I can see fine without them. It's not a big deal. I was literally looking for my glasses earlier, like while we were talking, and then I was like, oh yeah, they're over there, but that means I have to get up. I don't want to get up again.
Are you nearsighted or farsighted?
You know, I never remember which one's which, so I'm gonna say my glasses are for distance.
So you're nearsighted then. Okay.
You would think I would remember the difference because I worked in eye care, but I literally could never remember the difference. I was so bad.
It's kind of tricky. I only know because I used to wear glasses. I got laser surgery.
I've worn glasses off and on. So like this is the third time in my life I've had to wear glasses. So yeah.
I'm gonna get an eye test tomorrow. And I wonder if I'll be wearing glasses again too.
Right.
I don't miss it. I really don't.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hassle.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're having another kangaroo squirrel moment. So
hello, kangaroo squirrel.
Fancy seeing you here again. That was adorable. Okay, so let's see. I also we should probably mention we're not going to talk about the whole Chris Rock thing.
Yeah, I know people are talking about that.
People are still talking about it, and like we're not even a week out from the Oscars, and I'm done with it.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there.
There is, and it's kind of boils down to like everyone is wrong in that situation. Yes. Like nobody did the right thing. Nobody was good. Nobody was like a hero or anything. Like it's yeah.
The discussions around it seem more about society than anything else.
Right. And like I don't want to talk about it because it's been so like memed to death and talked about to death, and I'm just I don't care anymore.
Yeah. So. I'm just like, oh gosh, no, I can't. No, there's just too much.
Right. And I bring that
up. Write a research paper on this.
Right. I bring that up because the first category listed on the Oscars website is actor in a leading role. And Will Smith won that right after the incident.
Yep.
So
how awkward.
Right. Yeah. And let's see, the other nominees in the category were Denzel Washington for The Tragedy of Macbeth, Andrew Garfield for Tick, Tick, Boom, Benedict Cumberbatch for The Power of the Dog, and Javier Bardem for Being the Ricardos.
Yeah, and I only watched, I did watch two, The Power of the Dog and Tick, Tick, Boom. Both were quite good, quite interesting. I only got to see the trailer King Richard. Before watching the trailer, when I only just like read the title, I was like, oh wait, another Shakespeare? Wait, what? I was so confused.
That was honestly my thought too. Like I didn't even think about like Serena and Venus Williams. Like that wasn't even like
Yeah,
in my
I
head on that
didn't.
one.
I had never known who their dad's name was. I was like, oh, okay, so their
Yeah,
dad was Richard. Okay.
yeah,
After watching the trailer, I was a bit like bummed out. Like, I
yeah,
think Venus and Serena Williams are amazing, but seeing if that movie is about how they were raised, I feel sad because it's like this whole thing where the parent tries to live through the child's
yeah,
kind of feeling,
yeah.
and
It
that
is.
it's like coming from a Korean family, I felt that. So yeah,
Yeah.
being the firstborn in a Korean family, so yeah,
Yeah. Like you said, if that is the way they were raised, it is really sad and like disappointing because I don't,
yeah,
I feel like parents shouldn't project their failed dreams onto their children or their hopes and dreams that they never achieved
yeah,
and put that on their children because that's not fair to them either. Or even just putting pressure like that on them.
yeah. Like
If it
some of the
isn't,
lines just from the trailer were like, it's
yeah.
pressure on Venus and Serena. I'm like, okay, without him saying anything, I bet they already knew that there was that amount of pressure, but
Oh yeah.
they don't need that. They really don't need that extra layer. It's just too much.
Yeah. Yeah, because I saw the trailers too and I was like, wow, that is like serious pressure for such young kids.
Yeah. And
And
then,
like
it's like they're amazing at what they do.
they are, yeah. And
They're
like
incredible.
uh,
But I wonder because like for me, being pushed towards a certain direction in my life, even though okay, so like I went to college to be an engineer, and it's not my first choice. I would have preferred to go to theater, but that was like the feeling was very much there that I should pursue something that would make quote unquote money
mm,
rather than just make me a poor artist. But
yep.
it's like what would I have been happier in? And there's always going to be that layer of regret that I didn't pursue my first interest from the get-go, that I didn't feel like I had the support. And I'm like, do Venus and Serena feel the same way? I mean, they're super successful, they're at the top of the world, but do they still feel that? I wonder. It's like,
Right?
is there something in there?
And like I do wonder that about a lot of like child stars and child athletes like that too, of like especially if they don't make it big like Venus and Serena did, like do they regret that they put all of that time in to please their parents that when they could have been doing
Yeah,
something
or
else kind of thing.
to meet family obligations rather than just pursue what they really, really want to do. But I don't know, maybe tennis was what they wanted all along too.
Right.
But
And
there's just that layer of just not knowing because that pressure was there.
yeah, and like there's actually a member of the K-pop group in Hypen that I think about when like this conversation comes up
Mm-hmm.
because he was a figure skater before he went into being a trainee
Oh
and
wow.
he was actually really good. Like he got like gold and silver medals in like the Korean nationals and a couple of other like international competitions.
Wow.
And had he not switched to being a trainee full time, because he was doing
Mm-hmm.
both at the same time for a while, um, if he hadn't fully committed to being a trainee, it's very likely that we would have seen him at the Olympics recently.
Hmm.
And
Dang.
every once in a while, like these last few months, if somebody asks and hype in the question of if you weren't a K-pop idol, what would you be doing right now? And he's like, I could have been in Beijing.
Yeah.
And
Dang.
so like you can tell he's just a teeny bit better about it, about missing out on the Olympics or the
Hmm.
possibility of representing Korea in the Olympics. But he also says he absolutely is happy with the choice he made. He loves being an idol. Like, so for him, there's not really a lot of regret. It's just that thought of I could have been kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. For a case like his, it must be like super hard because he's super good at both.
He really
So he could have
is.
gone either way. So.
There's videos of like when he was younger, during competitions, when videos like were allowed. So there's videos out there of his routines when he was ice skating, and then even after he's debuted now, they've done ice skating like with his group. So he got to like teach
Wow.
them things and like help him, and like he is so natural on the ice, like it's ridiculous.
Wow.
And some of their choreography, they've used rollerblades. They've had him use rollerblades and
Yeah.
wheelies, those shoes that have the wheels in them,
Oh yeah.
as like part of the choreography, because he has the skill to do it better than the other members.
Damn.
And stuff, and like it's so good. Like it's really cool that he has that background that like also lends itself to dancing and choreography and everything.
Yeah. It's cool that he's actually still able to use it in some capacity.
Yeah.
And even though he's in like a very different field from that.
Yeah. And like his members also just like they're fascinated every time they see him on the ice too, and they're like, he was really like born to be on the ice kind of thing is the comments they usually make.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. There's always going to be like that mini regret there. Like, oh, could have been, could have been. I wonder, Especially like if you take a certain road that you don't really want to pursue, but you feel obligated to go down that road, and then it ends up being unsuccessful. Not out of any fault of your own, it just ends up being unsuccessful. And you have like an extra layer of bitterness in that way. So it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like just sad watching that trailer. Like,
Right.
oh
Yeah,
gosh.
that trailer, like I think I saw two different trailers for it, and yeah, both of them just really emphasized like how much pressure their dad put on them, and like they missed a lot of school growing up because like he had them out training and all of this stuff. Like it was pouring rain in one of the trailers and he had them out on the court still and everything.
Yeah.
And it was just like, that is way too much. Like you are going too
It's
hard on
like,
that
does
one.
it have to go that hard? Do you really have to? I mean, they're already amazing and incredibly talented. Do you have to make them go in the rain? Ultimately, it's up to like Venus and Serena how they feel about that. But it's
Right.
like just
Yeah.
watching that, I feel sad.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have actor in a supporting role. Some of these I actually don't recognize the actor.
This one, the winner, Troy Klutzer, I hope I'm saying that right, from the movie Coda. That's a foreign film? I forgot where it's from.
I don't know if it's a foreign film, but if it's the one I think it is, I'm actually pull it up here. Hang on.
It's the girl who lives with a deaf family, but she loves to
Okay.
sing.
Yeah.
I wanted to see this, and I'm like, it's only on Apple TV. I don't have that, so
Oh, is it
I
really?
can't watch it. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah. She's the only hearing member of a deaf family, so there's a lot of
Yeah.
struggles for her in terms of like she wants to sing, but because they're deaf, not all of the family understands her passion and everything.
Yeah.
And stuff. So it seems like a really interesting movie just because I'm sure there are a lot of dynamic families like that.
Yeah. Whether
And
there's a deaf component in there or not, like,
yeah,
that kind of dynamic shows up quite a bit.
there's one guy I see his I think they're just on Facebook. I actually don't know. Like the reels section on Facebook, where like it shows you the little video clips and stuff.
Yeah.
Uh some people will post like some of it comes from like Instagram reels, others are like Facebook reels and stuff. But there's this guy who is the child of deaf parents, and he is hearing. But of course he grew up signing and everything, and he works in an office of mostly deaf or hard of hearing people. And because he's an interpreter by profession. And he posts a lot of reels where he's signing or is like reenacting various situations and things, and a lot of it ends up being things like questions he gets as a child of a deaf adult, which is what CODA stands for. I learned that a while ago.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
I don't remember where I learned that, but yeah, that's what CODA is short for.
I thought it was like talking about the musical term CODA. That was interesting. That's cool.
It's probably
CODA.
both in this case because it is about music and stuff. So, but yes,
double meanings. Awesome.
I love double meanings and titles. But he talks a lot about like when because he lives with his parents as well. So like when he's home and like he needs something from his parents, he has to like text them because they can't hear him if he yells.
Oh my gosh.
But if they need something, they just like yell or make a lot of noise so that he knows that they need something.
Oh my goodness.
So it's like,
but what if they're not looking at their phone and they don't know he texted?
Yeah, I don't know. Or like if like even my phone, like I always have my phone on vibrate, so I don't always even feel the vibration. So like even if they have the vibration on, like they're not gonna always feel it or like sense the vibration.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of like the highlight of the video is like the struggles of being a child of a deaf parent, a hearing child of a deaf parent.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I wonder if a child of deaf parents ever feels like kind of lonely because they can't share that part with their parents.
I'm sure there probably is an element of that to it. There was a show called Switched at Birth, where the two daughters of two different families, or the daughters of two different families, were switched at birth, and one of them ended up getting really sick when she was like 2 years old and lost her hearing.
Oh no.
And she has a cochlear implant and can speak some, but she mostly relies on ASL. So the episodes often have silent moments or subtitles because there's a lot of signing in it. And like the families find out that their daughters were switched, and so then like they're basically like getting to know each other's families and getting to know their biological daughters and everything, while still raising the daughters that they took home all those years ago, kind of thing and stuff. And it's very interesting because the deaf daughter actually attends a school for the deaf initially, and then when they move to be closer to the other family, she switches schools and then ends up actually switching back because there's just not enough accommodations and things for her like there should be, because this is in California too, so it's a big school and stuff. So she ends up switching back after a while, and kind of just there's all sorts of things that happen with it, like the biological parents trying to learn ASL and be supportive and everything, but also wanting her to attend the quote unquote normal high school, instead of
Oh
the
man.
deaf one and stuff. And like their reasonings for it aren't because like, oh well, you can hear because you have the implant, so you should be at a normal school. It's really just because it's their school district, and like she's living in their school district now and stuff. So like
Oh,
a lot of it is more like, well, you and the one you were switched at would be at the same school, so you should be together at the same school so you can get to like know each other better and everything and stuff. And it's really a
huh.
lot of like just that kind of trying to force normality out of a very abnormal
Not
situation
normal.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't watch all of the show, but
Man.
I watched a decent amount of the seasons, and it's not bad. It's actually pretty good.
Hmm. I've never watched that show. Maybe I'll check it out sometime.
Yeah. I didn't realize that The Power of the Dog had 2 nominees for actor in a supporting role.
Yeah, that's interesting. I forget which one was Jesse Plemons or Cody Smith. Who was, I don't remember.
Both of them were the nominees.
Yeah, I don't remember who they
but
were in the movie.
I didn't watch the movie, so I can't help you with that.
Let's see. Okay, Jesse Plemons. All right, that was the brother. And the other guy, what was his name? Cody Smith McPhee.
Yeah.
He was an Australian actor.
Where's
Oh,
Crosscar?
he was the boy. Okay.
Crosscar, we're talking about
the young
Aussies
boy.
again. Get over here.
Crosscar.
Crosscar or Digi. Digi's Australian too. Digi, get over here.
Hey, come on over. We'll get them next time.
But
I think they both did amazing in that movie.
Did they?
Mm-hmm.
And then
So.
the other nominee is, I always pronounce his first name wrong, so I'm afraid to say it.
That's a hard name to
Because
pronounce.
I've heard it pronounced 2 different ways, of Syrian and Kyrian.
Huh.
Heinz.
It's Irish, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, which doesn't make it any easier.
Yeah.
I think it's Kyrian though, because a friend of mine who is from the UK, he and his wife had a baby almost 2 years ago now.
Kieran?
And his name is spelled very similarly, and it's Kyrian. So I wonder if it's Kieran Hines?
Maybe it's like Kieran.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Kieran. Most people will probably know who we're talking about anyway, just because of that.
The one with a really cool but hard to pronounce name.
He's been in a lot of other stuff, so I'm actually kind of surprised that he's in a supporting role, I guess. Because Kieran has been in a lot of things. I'm pulling up the IMDb page here. Let's see. The Woman in Black, in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, he was Aberforth Dumbledore, so he's Dumbledore's younger brother.
Oh. Gosh, now I need to rewatch that.
Right. Well, and it's not like you see him a ton either, so you wouldn't necessarily, and the makeup he has on too, like he's got a fake beard on and everything, so like
and it was years ago when I watched
I
that.
wouldn't have known that it was Kieran at that time. So let's see, what else has he been in? Let's see, trying to see what there is that is familiar.
A bunch of stuff.
Oh yeah, he's been in tons of stuff. Oh, if you watched Game of Thrones, he was in Game of Thrones.
Oh my gosh, who was he?
Mance Rayder. The
Oh
Wild
my
Man.
gosh.
Yeah, that was Kieran.
That was him? Okay.
Yeah, that was him.
Okay.
Which is much more like where you see what he normally looks like too. Like they didn't do a lot for him for makeup, I don't think. Not like Aberforth.
He's definitely recognizable in that one.
Yeah. He's done a lot of like voice acting as well, it looks like. So But yeah, those are probably like the more recent ones that people will recognize. So yeah, I'm kind of surprised that he was supporting role, but at the same time, like he's done like both supporting and lead roles too, so like I can see, I guess.
Yeah, maybe it was like because maybe it was like a pet project kind of thing. The
Oh, that
movie
could be too,
Belfast.
yeah.
So I was like, oh hey buddy, you want to be my movie? Kenneth Branagh, yeah, the director.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got like a pretty wide network.
Oh yeah,
Like, hey
probably.
dudes, come be in my movie. Let's chill. And they're like, ah yeah, dude, let's do it. Yeah. Except with their awesome British accents.
Right.
Yeah. I'll have to watch that one. I didn't even know where to watch that.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's
See, what was the next category?
The next category is actress in a leading role. Nominees were Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Olivia Colman for The Lost Daughter, Penelope Cruz for Parallel Mothers, Nicole Kidman for Being the Ricardos, and Kristen Stewart for Spencer.
And I didn't watch any one of those.
I didn't either. The winner was
feeling terrible.
right. The winner was Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye. And I was actually just looking up that.
I did watch the trailer for that and I was like, ooh, okay. So it's like it seems like it was the movie about one of those televangelists.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except she's like the innocent, legit type believer type, like who's super naive.
Yeah.
And just wants the best for everyone, and everyone else is like super jaded and out for the money or whatnot. Or yeah. At least that's what from the trailer, what it seemed like it was.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about her. Just because I never really watched any televangelists or anything growing up either.
Yeah, I didn't either.
But yeah.
Grew up in an evangelical home, but I never watched that stuff. But I'm like, I know the type. Yeah. From the trailers, it seemed like, oh gosh, she's really putting in a lot in this performance. So
See,
if I watched the movie, I'd be like, ooh.
I don't think I saw trailers for any of those movies in that category, honestly. Not that I remember anyway.
Yeah, I only saw the trailer for Eyes of Tammy Faye. I really wanted to watch Being the Ricardos, but I didn't get around to it.
I didn't get around to watching Tick Tick Boom either.
It's so hard to find time,
It is. Time and energy and attention span.
Oh my goodness, yes. But mostly like uninterrupted time that isn't in the middle of the night.
Right, yes.
Hard. Yeah. And even then I get interrupted.
Right.
Mom life.
Oh, yes. The mom life is real. Okay.
Actually, that's a bit unfair. I should say favored parent life.
True, yes. Because there are plenty of dads who end up with our situations as well.
Yep.
I am definitely the favored parent in our house, and it annoys me sometimes because I'm like, you have to walk past your father's door to get to my door. Why?
Right?
Like, especially if his door is open and you know he's awake. Why?
Yep. Like, just go on in. Like, come on. Or like, okay, I made strict rules. Okay, kids, do not disturb me when I'm with a student. I'm running a session.
Yeah.
Do not.
Like,
and what do? Mom!
Oh, yeah. Okay, my kids
gosh.
are better at that. And plus my lessons are so early in the morning here that it's not quite as big of a deal. But now, like with daylight savings, my lessons start when I would normally take them to school. So they either have to walk on certain days or their dad has to get up and take them. So
Ooh.
which was funny because I actually woke him up this morning because I had to ask him to stop and get something on his way back from dropping them off. And I was like, it was like 7:20 when I woke him up to tell him I needed him to stop and get a few things that I needed. And I went back to my room and I'm sitting there thinking, did he forget that he has to take the kids to school today?
Oh no.
Because he didn't work until 10 today. So I was like, did I wake him up before his alarm or did he just forget?
Yeah, that the anxiety of like, oh gosh, wait a minute. Like, did they forget? Oh no, oh gosh. It's me all the time too.
Yes.
Because that's why we end up being the favorite parent, because we're like the ones that are super on top of it.
Yes. Like he tries.
And they know it.
He tries, but yeah. Because I've always been the one always handling everything. Like he's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Even my husband is like, you have to take over. I don't know what to do. I'm like, seriously, I'm sick right here. Deal with it.
Right? Figure out the way that works best for you, even if it's not the way that I would do it. Just figure it out.
Just survive, please. Yeah.
Right.
Squirrel, kangaroo squirrel.
Yep, kangaroo squirrel. Next category. Actress in a supporting role. We have
the nominees: Jessie Buckley from The Lost Daughter, Judi Dench, Belle from Belfast, she's amazing. Kirsten Dunst of The Power of the Dog. Oh gosh, what is this? Ingenue. I hope I'm saying that. Ingenue Ellis from King Richard. And then the winner, Ariana DeBose from West Side Story.
Yes.
That is a really cool name, Ingenue. I love it. I really love that name.
I want to know what origin that is.
It sounds like a different spelling for the other word, ingenue, which is like the young lead role, the one who gets to play Christine in Phantom of the Opera, that kind of
role.
Yeah. The young ingenue of the show. I love how she spelled it.
She was born in San Francisco, California.
Ooh. Cali girls, what's up?
Right. What else has she
After
been
spending
in?
10 years there, I totally like knocked down the Valley Girl. Like, yeah. That's all it took, was 10 years. And now I have a hard time dropping it.
Let's see, what else was she in? She was also in Lovecraft Country.
I wanted to watch that. It looks so cool.
It looks really interesting, yeah. Let's see. Oh, TV miniseries When They See Us about the Central Park Five. She was one of their moms, I believe, if I remember correctly. Looks like she had a recurring role on NCIS Los Angeles and Quantico.
All shows I haven't watched. Damn.
A couple other shows as well.
I really do live under a rock. Damn.
It's okay. I do too.
I just started The Silent Sea. I got through one episode. I'm like, okay, it is probably going to be a month before I even get the time to watch another.
Oh, that's another reason I haven't watched it either. Like, there's so many like K-dramas and Korean shows that I want to watch, but I'm like, I have to have the attention span for subtitles. So
it's hard.
It is.
It's like I love to watch shows where I can do two things at once, and yeah, K-dramas is not one of those things.
Right. I'm not anywhere near fluent enough for that yet.
Yep.
Someday.
One day it will happen. It's a dream.
Right. But Ariana DeBose winning West Side Story, that's actually pretty cool. I did watch it. And I can see why the people kind of felt it was a little underwhelming.
Yeah.
Because it is obviously an adaptation of the 1957 musical.
Yeah.
And it was good. Like the story is still a really great story and everything. But yeah, I can see why some people were like kind of about it. Because it's kind of just one of those older stories. Not that it didn't age well, because it did just fine. But it's just a lot of that like retelling of Romeo and Juliet almost. That whole forbidden love
It's
aspect
funny.
and stuff.
I actually like it's sad. I'm in musical theater and I never watched West Side Story. I actually don't know much about the story.
So
Yeah.
it's very much
Shame on me.
it's very similar to that idea of Romeo and Juliet, where there are two street gangs, the Jets and the Sharks, and one is a white gang, the other is a Hispanic gang. Well, Puerto Rican. Puerto Rican. Because in the 1957s, 57s, wow.
It feels so long ago.
In that time period, we're gonna go with that. There was a lot of immigration from Puerto Rico to the US, and in Florida, of course. And the main character's brother is in one of the gangs, and the love interest is in the other gang.
That's
So
totally Romeo and Juliet.
it really is. And like the thing is, he wanted to like leave he has basically left the gang because he got arrested for nearly beating a man to death.
Oh, there's
And
anger issues.
like he almost killed the guy, so it was attempted murder. And he's like served his time, he's out on probation now, so basically he cannot have anything to do with the street gangs, whether it was his gang or any other gang kind of thing. And stuff. And so he's like trying to stay out of it and everything, but the leader of his gang, his old gang, is like has this big turf war with the other gang, and like they're gonna have their little showdown and everything, and he's like, you have to be there, it won't be right without you, blah 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 and stuff. And this is even after their love thing has happened, like their love interest has started and everything, stuff. And he's like, no, I can't be there, man, like it's not right, and it breaks my probation and all of this, like I'd go back to jail and stuff. um I think the only difference that ends up happening between Romeo and Juliet and West Side Story is the guy dies but the girl doesn't. Yeah,
but she dies a little inside.
she does,
just a little,
definitely.
Yeah. Totally metaphorical
And stuff, but it's still a great movie, and it's still a great adaptation. I think the reason some people didn't like it or had kind of lukewarm reception of it is because when they are speaking Spanish, they do not put subtitles on.
What?
There's no subtitles in the movie.
Really?
And
that was totally a choice.
They did it on purpose, yeah, because they were like, it shouldn't matter. Like Steven Spielberg was like, no, it should not matter whether you know exactly what they're saying or not, because the emotions are still conveyed. And he's right, the emotions still come through even if you don't know what they're saying.
That's a big nod to the actors then, and also how the movie was edited and directed, because to be able to do that when you don't understand a word. It's like that's like how they do it with Shakespeare, because most people don't have any idea what the people are saying. It's so old English.
Yeah.
When you don't understand a word. It's like that's like how they do it with Shakespeare, because most people don't have any idea what the people are saying. It's so old English.
Right.
But
Yeah.
a good actor can convey what's being said just by how they perform it.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's a very interesting thing there. I want to see this one. It's on my list of movies to still watch. Eventually I'll get there.
Right.
I did watch the trailer and I was like, oh gosh, this looks like Romeo and Juliet as soon as I saw it.
Right. Well, when the trailer started, when we were, I don't remember what movie we'd gone to see, but the trailer started and I was like, oh my God, is it West Side Story? Is it? Because it just starts with like the snaps or claps or whatever of like what the gangs do. And then then it like, because it's just a black screen like while that's happening, and then it like pans up to like the street view and everything, and that's how the trailer starts, and I'm like, oh, it's West Side Story.
I saw a different trailer.
Well, yeah,
I saw the one where she's like doing solo, the main girl was doing a solo song. That part kind of like
I saw that one
was
too.
a bit jarring for me.
Yeah,
I didn't like it because of the way it's okay. She's singing from an alleyway or something. She's sticking her head out the window, but the sound that's coming out of her mouth sounds like it was done professionally in a recording studio. And I'm like,
yeah,
you missed something there.
Right. Yeah, that one was, I saw both of those trailers, and yeah, that one I was just kind of like,
she sounds amazing,
the trailer better.
But you could have still put her in like the alleyway sound. It needed to be there because that's where she's supposed to be.
Right.
Like, she's singing out of her window. Please don't make it sound like she's in a professional studio.
That scene in the movie is much better. It does not sound studio recorded.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just for some reason, the trailer decided to be weird about it.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that, but yeah.
Odd choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then let's see. Animated feature film. We have nominees are Flea, Luca, The Mitchells vs. the Machines, Raya and the Last Dragon, and the winner was Encanto. Not too surprising there, I don't think.
Yeah, that was probably, I mean, okay, Raya was maybe the only one that would have been like, oh my gosh, which one's gonna win? But no, seriously,
Yeah.
Encanto all the way. Like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh. I didn't get to see Flea, so I'm like, okay, maybe I'm being a bit unfair, but seriously, Encanto.
I did watch The Mitchells vs. the Machines, so I have seen that
cool.
one at least. Yeah, I really
it was
liked
very interesting.
It was a very fun, like, it kind of goes back to the whole like the conversation we had earlier of like parents not understanding your hopes and dreams and things.
Yeah,
as well,
and without maybe they don't want to put you down or break your dreams, but they do it just by being them, like by not understanding.
And like I kind of feel bad for the dad, because like he's trying, but it's like the things he's trying are like not the way you should handle that situation. Kind of
like
thing.
you could ask her how. It's okay. Please ask her.
Yeah.
It's, gosh, but still, it was a good movie. I liked it. Yeah. But of course, Encanto. Perfect. It was, all the feels. That one just ticks every single box.
So many feels.
Yeah.
so many.
My gosh. Favorite character? Louisa. Same. Hands down. Louisa all the way.
Her song is my favorite
girl,
too.
You can bench and you rocking it. I'm like, yeah, I can relate to you completely.
Yes.
And her song was so good. And I was like, I'm
yes.
It hit me. I'm like, this is my song too.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
And then next category is cinematography. And we have nominees are Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, The Tragedy of Macbeth, West Side Story, and the winner, to probably no one's surprise, is Dune.
Of course. Of course.
Yes.
How could it not be? My goodness. Even watching this movie in a theater that decided to put way too much shade on their screen, I could still tell it was just amazing. Such a good movie. I don't know. I am also probably biased because I love sci-fi movies that just go all out.
But you can't really go wrong with Dune. Well, I mean, you can mess it up, but
you could.
But they didn't. So
they could have like underpaid their SFX guys and then just had a really crappy movie. But thankfully they did not. So they did not disappoint. It was so good.
Which kind of leads into the next category of costume design. I'm surprised they didn't win for costume design.
Who won for that? Oh, Cruella.
So the nominees were Cruella, Cyrano, Dune, Nightmare Alley, and West Side Story. And Cruella won.
Huh. I only saw Dune, so I can't compare. But I mean, from the trailers, it's like, okay, yeah, of course, it's a movie about a fashion thing. So of course they can go all out and wacko.
And I mean, West Side Story had really good costuming as well. Like it definitely fit that era and Miami, like in Florida and everything where all of that was happening. So costumes were really good. But I really would have thought Dune would have won that, honestly.
Yeah, they had some really nice ones in there. Maybe it came down to the sheer amount. Because I think probably Cruella has more. Probably. Being a fashion related film.
I don't know. I didn't watch Cruella, so.
There were some things about Dune that maybe might have felt like, oh, just another sci-fi design on the costuming, particularly with like the fighters looks. For me, they all look the same.
Right? Yeah.
Military garb, basically, just with maybe a different color or something. But
yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Cyrano, I'm interested in. I wanted to see that movie, but it's like, oh, it's on the list. I'm very curious what their costumes look like.
I don't think I know what that one is. I think I heard about it, but I don't really remember what it's about. Oh wait, that's the one with Peter Dinklage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. I've seen the trailers. I so wanted to see
watch
it.
The movie.
Oh.
Yeah. He's so cool.
I love him. He is the best.
He's one of my favorite actors.
Yes.
Yeah. It's on my list. Another thing on my list. Dang it. You're gonna grow old and gray before you to watch all these movies.
I know. Same.
I did see the older Cyrano, the French one, with what's his name? Oh gosh, the French actor. No, I can't remember his name, but that one was really good. So I'm like, ooh, I want to see the updated version. I want to see. Yeah.
Someday we'll watch it.
One day.
Yep. Okay. And then directing. We had nominees Belfast, Drive My Car, Licorice Pizza, West Side Story, and the winner, The Power of the Dog.
The Power of the Dog, Jane Campion. I was fascinated to learn that this being a Western, they filmed it in New Zealand. I was like, oh.
Okay, then.
All right. My eyes deceived me on the article I read. I'm like, really? Wow. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a very intriguing movie. My body was tense watching the whole thing, partly because of the very off-putting music.
Oh, yeah?
I think was done on purpose. Like the whole thing makes you tense, like, ugh. And I think it was supposed to convey this feeling of not wanting to step on the main character's shoes. Why is his name? Cumberbatch's shoes, like, because he's like the dog, the power of the dog. He is the dog. I think that's what was going on there. So I think she definitely pulled that one off quite well. You get that sense where there was like always this intense moments, like just the whole thing felt intense for me. Like, like what's going on?
Yeah.
Did you get to watch it?
No, I haven't yet.
I had to look up after watching it because I was a little confused too. I was like, am I getting the right meaning here, or am I not getting the right meaning there? I'm like,
yeah, I had to look up the description because I was like, what is this, like, what is this supposed to be about?
Yeah, it was, after watching it, I was just a little lost. It was super tense, but I had to look up what it was more about because I was like, am I really getting the right meaning? I'm slow to pick up on these things. So.
I am too sometimes, don't feel bad.
It's like sometimes you really have to spell it out for me, or I'm gonna be like, what? Sorry. Yeah. My brain cells are a little lacking. I'm trying. Like I tend to be the last person to understand a joke, typically. Everyone else is like, haha. I'm like, huh? I try. Yeah. But I thought it was good. It was good. I spent the first 10 minutes of that movie just trying to get over Cumberbatch speaking with an American accent. Like,
oh gosh, I don't know if I can watch it then. Like, that's gonna be so weird.
Because like looking at his face, I cannot imagine him without a British accent. I just can't. I was like, this is hurting my brain.
I don't know if I've watched anything that he didn't have his native accent. Because even in Star Trek, he still had the accent, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
I think he did.
I'm extra confused.
I know.
Wait, was he? I'm so confused.
In the newer Star Treks.
I can't remember much. Dang. I think he did.
I think he did too.
Yeah.
No, watch us both be wrong.
If he had a different accent, it was not as notable as it was in The Power of the Dog. It was just so different. It was like, I cannot picture you with this. This is weird. Like, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he did really good in that movie.
Good. Okay. Next is documentary feature length.
Excuse me.
I did not watch any of these. Let's see, we have Ascension, Attica, Flee, Writing with Fire, and the winner was Summer of Soul, or When the Revolution Could Not Be Televised.
I also did not see a single one of these. I don't know where to watch these.
I don't know either, actually. Let me see. Attica is on Showtime.
Don't have that.
And Amazon
all these things
Prime.
You have to pay extra money to watch. I'm like, oh,
right?
Sorry. Kind of short on that right now.
I'm gonna assume the rest are also like Showtime or HBO, maybe. They tend to do a lot more of the like feature-length documentaries. Like that's where the Chernobyl documentary was a couple years ago. It was on HBO. I actually quite liked that. Well, I guess it wasn't a documentary, it was a TV miniseries. But I actually quite liked it. And then documentary Short Subject. Also did not see any of these.
We have Audible, Lead Me Home, 3 Songs for Benazir, When We Were Bullies, and the winner was The Queen of Basketball. If it has sports in it, I did not watch it because particularly American football. I just will not watch anything with American football in it.
Yeah,
It's a thing.
I'm not a huge sports fan. There are some that I'll watch, like Remember the Titans and that might be it. I'm sure there's probably other ones that I mean, you have the Mighty Ducks series as well, if you want to count that. Hockey. But yeah, mostly I don't really do sports in general.
Yeah. Like, I'd rather play the sport. I don't want to watch somebody else do it. It just makes me antsy.
Yeah.
Gotta get up and move. Dang it. Yeah. I'm like that. I did watch, I watched, what was it? Lead Me Home, and I watched 3 Songs for Benazir. Anything that was on Netflix, I watched, except for Audible, because that was the football one. Nope, I won't watch it. I don't like football. Shema, I'm like so unpatriotic, right?
No,
I don't like watching football either. So there. Even though it's like you can see their legs.
I don't watch either of them, so you're good.
Yeah. Lead Me Home was good.
Yeah.
I did like it was very, for me, living in California for the past 10 years, it was like, oh, I feel like I'm back there again, because yeah, I had just seen all of this in person, not a year ago. And it was worse than when they filmed that. It was, the pandemic had already happened, but by the time I had been passing through LA, it was worse. Yeah. You couldn't even go into the office buildings, like Secretary of State building. I had to go there to LA, and just driving into the downtown area. Oh my gosh, just tent city all over the place. I felt so brokenhearted seeing that, just so brought down. It's like, holy crap, all these people need help, and where is it? Where's the help? And like, for me and my family, we couldn't even do anything to help them, because we're also like, despite being okay, we're in the same way of being pushed out because the rent is just so expensive. So like, I could completely understand how they ended up there, because it's just impossible. Nobody can survive in that area.
Yeah.
And I'd seen enough of it in Hawaii too, because we got a huge homeless problem there. Huge.
Yeah, I've heard, like, you hear a lot about like California and New York, but Hawaii, because
Hawaii doesn't get talked about much, but like,
right.
I don't know if it's true or not, but I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I've heard other cities will send their homeless to us in Hawaii, because you clean up a little bit, we'll give you a one-way ticket to Hawaii. At least you'll be warm. Like, seriously, you just gonna dump your homeless on us? Like, what?
And like that might kind of, I think that makes the relationship between Hawaii and the mainland worse in a lot of ways, because like,
yes,
like they already don't like us. I say us as in white people.
It's
for a lot of reasons.
It's sad.
And then you add
a lot of historical reasons there.
Oh yes, lots of historical reasons.
But most of that feeling stays there, because it's like, instead of trying to fix the wound, they keep jabbing more things in there and making it more infected. So
we spend more on anti-homeless installations than we do,
instead of trying to prevent that.
Right. Then we do fixing it and preventing it, when fixing and preventing is cheaper.
Right?
But no, let's install benches that spikes come out of them when it gets dark, so homeless people can't lay on them, or install giant concrete spikes under bridges so that homeless people don't have even that somewhat safe place to rest.
Right? Or like, let's go through their tent city and throw everything away so they can just move right back 2 weeks later.
Yep.
It's just, it's terrible. There's not enough being done, and the problem just keeps growing faster and faster than they can do anything about it, because they don't want to do anything about it. They're just sitting on their hands, honestly. At least the ones who really have the power to do it. It feels like that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And similarly depressing was Three Songs for Benazir. It was also quite sad to watch. And it made me think about Ukraine because I'm forgetting, I think this was in Afghanistan where this one took place. I think pretty sure it was Afghanistan. But you see people who are just very poor and they're just trying to live. You know, they're not caught up in the whole bigger war that's going on. They're really just stuck in the middle. They're the real victims of all of it. And they get shot down. And then the main character doesn't even get support from his family. And it ends up screwing him over way more in the end. And I was just like, holy crap. Like, wow. And it made me think about Ukraine because like here now a lot of people are giving a lot of support and they're really focused on it. And when the wars were there happening in the Middle East, in Syria and Afghanistan, we didn't see that same kind of support. Even for like Palestinians, we just didn't see any of this kind of thing that we see now for Ukraine. It's like, oh man, this sucks. This really sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. And
like, we're all human. We all suffer.
I wish we would see more support for things in these other countries, because like I think we'd almost have to do another podcast to kind of dive into Israel and Palestine particularly.
Oh yeah.
Because I think so many people view that as like almost not the world's problem, because it's because it goes back so far and it's about religion more than it is anything else to a lot of people's minds. And it's like, okay, but you still have so many innocent people caught in the middle of this, and it's not right. Like that still needs addressing.
No matter what the bigger context is, it's the people who have no control over it that suffer the most.
Yep.
Like, they don't want this. They just want to live their life and just do the best they can. But here they are getting screwed over left and right. And it's like, oh, for me, it's really hard to tell what the difference is because with the Ukraine thing, I'm in Europe and what I see on the news is probably not what I would see in the US. Like they don't hold back. They show details. You see dead bodies on the news. The kids have seen like pictures of like bloody people because they're in the same room and watching the news. And I'm like, I would never see this in the US. They would just not show this.
Here, it would depend on what channel you are watching, because some of them do, especially if it's like kind of later night reporting, like Anderson Cooper's show, you might see more of that. Because he's on.
That's probably the other difference because I didn't have cable in the US.
We haven't had cable or satellite for quite a while now. So I don't see a lot of news, like live news and things like that. So when
it feels like the narrative kind of changes depending on what country you're in or what they show you.
Definitely. Because like our media, a lot of it will depend on how unbiased or biased your news outlet is, what they'll show and how they'll portray it and everything. So
it sucks. It really sucks. That's the lens we have to look through when every time something like this happens. We should be seeing how the everyday people are doing, just like how we're seeing with Ukraine. We're seeing how the everyday people are suffering, and I think that brings like a lot more empathy into the picture. But when it came to the previous wars that have been happening in the last decade or two, I don't remember seeing anything like that. We don't really see it on the ground, the people who are really dealing with it. Right. But the Three Songs for Benazir showed a glimpse of that. And for me, it was like, holy crap. Like, why didn't I see more of this going on? It's like, yeah, of course, there's people like this there. And it's a bit of a wake-up call for me. Like, oh gosh, I'm a little dense. So yeah.
Yeah, well, and it's a lot of that where like if you're not paying attention, or if you're not like from a region that is exposed to a lot of international news or international information,
Mhm.
you might not know that it's going on if it's not major news like Ukraine and Russia is right now.
Yeah.
Because even when things happen with Palestine and Israel, we don't always see that here in major news outlets because it gets viewed as, oh, they're at it again kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it's seen as more like old news. And
Yeah. Or like, oh, look, the neighbors are fighting, just mind your own business kind of thing. Like, oh gosh,
yeah.
no. Yeah.
And especially in America, we end up having this sense of, well, it's happening over there and we're over here, so it
Mm,
doesn't affect us. But really, it does, and it
it really
should.
does. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So
yeah,
I would like highly recommend everyone to go watch Three Songs for Benazir because it's very slice of life. It's just showing what's going on with family
yeah,
in and yeah. And I think it's very important to see that. So it shows quite a bit of perspective. Yeah.
definitely. Okay, and the next category is film editing. We have Don't Look Up, King Richard, The Power of the Dog, Tick Tick Boom, and the winner, Dune.
Woohoo! Dune again.
At least
It
Dune
was
won that one.
yep. It was so good. Oh gosh. I like Don't Look Up too.
I haven't watched it. Like,
It's getting a lot of flack, and I'm like, why?
I think a lot of
Why?
the flack it's getting is because it's too parallel to how people reacted to the pandemic.
Hmm.
And so like it was released at a time where we have the pandemic going on. A lot of people are ignoring it or burying their heads in the sand, however you want to put it. And then you
They're
have a
feeling called out and they don't want to deal.
yeah, you have Don't
Yeah.
Look Up come out, and it's so much like that that kind of
Yeah.
sentiment going on where, oh, we don't care, we're not going to pay attention to it, if we don't acknowledge it, it won't happen.
Hmm.
But it does. That's not how things work.
Yeah.
Kind of
It's
thing.
like it
So
is happening. From I think it was something I read when he was writing the script, and then things were getting more ridiculous in real life than what he had written, so he had to make it even more outrageous. Like, oh
right.
boy.
like we can't have this be too realistic, we need it more not realistic,
But real life
but
was
y'all
winning
are
that
out
game.
crazy
So
crazy.
I'm like, wow,
Yeah,
that's crazy. If anything, like, okay, it's supposed to be what, satire, I
yeah,
guess, but
sort of, yeah.
it should be a wake-up call for everyone. Like, hey, don't let reality become that way because it kind of already did and more. So can we just kind of
Right.
stop?
Yeah.
Please, people.
Yes.
Yeah. So I thought it was well edited, but oh well, it's getting some flack. But Dune, yes, I can see why Dune won that one. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep. Tick Tick Boom was also pretty good. I liked it. I was a little confused because, again, I'm a bit slow to pick up on things, but yeah, it was still good. I was like, oh, is it like Rent? No, wait, no, what? What's going
Oh,
on again?
it's about the guy who wrote Rent.
The guy who wrote Rent, yeah.
Yes.
But the way it was edited, it was like, oh, I feel like I'm watching a bit of Rent too at the same time. That was just my perspective. And yeah, there was a lot of good film editing. I didn't see, the only one I didn't see was King Richard. So, anyway. Yeah. Let's see, what's the next one?
Next one.
Best adapted screenplay?
Uh,
See.
next one on the Oscars website is
Okay.
international feature film.
Ooh.
So we have from the nominees from Denmark, Flee, from
Mhm.
Italy, The Hand of God, From Bhutan, Lunana, A Yak in the Classroom. From Norway, The Worst Person in the World. And the winner from Japan, Drive My Car.
Oh, I only saw The Hand of God, and I was like 2 parts confused and 2 parts disturbed. Like, what the heck am I watching?
I don't know if I want to watch that then. Oh goodness.
Like I had to ask my husband about the context of the whole Hand of God thing, because apparently it's all about this soccer player named Maradona, and it was a big deal for the game that he won. I guess it was the World Cup, but he used his hand and he got away with it. So I guess that was why he was called the Hand of God. But somehow it fit into the story. It was a slice of life film, very slice of life. And there were some really depressing moments in there. And there was some really like, WTF, what is this? What is going on here? I don't like, oh my gosh, I need to burn my eyes out now. Like, holy crap.
All right then.
Yeah. Italian movie. Very interesting.
Sounds like it.
I was like, okay, I'm confused, but wait, what? I wanted to see all the other ones that were on that list, but I don't even know where to watch them.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the hard part, is trying to find these to watch.
Right.
If you don't see some of them
find an affordable way of watching them.
Yes.
Yes. That's the key there. Affordable. Yeah.
Okay. And then next is makeup and hairstyling. So I'm actually it's kind of interesting to see who was nominated and who won on this one, because you never know who they're gonna do for it. So nominees are Coming to America, Cruella, Dune, House of Gucci, and the winner is The Eyes of Tammy Faye.
I did not expect that.
I didn't either. I know, like, when we had talked about it with CrossCore, I think we thought maybe Dune would probably win.
Yeah, or Cruella.
Or even Cruella.
Inventive.
And but no, it's
yeah. How?
Yeah.
I'm really curious what was like the winning part there.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, without having watched the film, it's hard to know, because like you wouldn't think there was a lot to do with the makeup on that one, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, for the trailer, it was like, okay, so they got the time period right, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, when you're up against a sci-fi film, 2 films that have to deal with fashion, and then Coming to America, and I didn't see that one. I saw the first one, and that one had some amazing makeup and hairstyling. So I was like, that's a lot to go up against.
Right.
So, what happened here?
It's one of those results that makes me question their choices, honestly.
Yeah, I'd really love to see what was their like reasoning for this one to win.
Yeah.
It's hard to make a proper like judgment without having seen all the films, but just knowing the type of films that The Eyes of Tammy Faye was up against is like, okay, what happened here?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Very interesting.
Very. Okay, next one is music original score. And we have nominees are Don't Look Up, Encanto, Parallel Mothers, The Power of the Dog, and the winner, which probably surprises no one on this one, is Dune, because it's Hans Zimmer.
Zimmer, like, yeah.
Does he ever lose? I mean,
right?
Like, yeah, it's Hans Zimmer.
Dude just kicks out bangers every time. Yeah.
He really does,
Yep.
yes.
Yep.
And then along with that, we have music original song, and we have Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second there.
It's Be Alive from King Richard, Dos Oruguitas from Encanto, Down to Joy from Belfast, Somehow You Do from Four Good Days, and then the winner was No Time to Die from No Time to Die. Okay. Interesting.
Billie Eilish.
Yeah,
sang that song.
interesting. I'm not a fan of Billie Eilish.
I am not really either. Nothing against her, it's just not my type of music.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, I'm looking at the names that we're up against here. Yeah, Van Morrison, Beyonce,
okay.
Lin-Manuel Miranda, and Diane Warren. Like, okay, seriously, really? Okay.
Right, and that's a James Bond film too. So
Interesting.
No Time to Die is a James Bond film.
I'm just gonna have to go listen to these songs. I have
right, like, and how does that be Encanto? Really, like,
yeah. I mean, come on, Miranda's a genius here. Like, whoa,
right?
Yeah, interesting choice there.
Very.
Wonder what was the winning key?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then let's see, next is Best Picture. So we have Belfast, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, West Side Story, and the winner is Coda.
I had heard the front runner was Coda for this, so I'm not surprised to see that it won. I really want to see this movie now.
Right? Like, I definitely am gonna have to go find it and watch it soon. So
yeah, it's like top of the list.
yes. Yep. Okay. And then next is production design. So we have nominees Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, The Tragedy of Macbeth, West Side Story, and winner is Dune.
Of course.
Of course. It won like all of the other categories except for the few that were like, how did that not win?
Of course it was Dune. Yeah, it was well produced. I love that movie. I cannot wait for the next movie. My gosh. Can I just like speed up the clock so I can go watch that movie?
Right.
In a proper theater next time. Damn
it. Right. Yes.
Fly back to the US just to go watch it in IMAX.
There you go. Okay, and then next we have short film animated. And we have Affairs of the Art, Bestia, Box Ballet, Robin Robin, and the winner is The Windshield Wiper.
I was very intrigued by that. I saw Robin. I think that was the one that was on Netflix.
I don't think I watched any of these.
Robin, that was, yeah, that was the one that was, it's on Netflix, Robin.
Okay,
and it's cute. It's cute. The kids can watch it. It's totally cute. It was, yeah, adorable. I watched The Windshield Wiper and I was like, what's going on here? Again, slow me of just needing a little extra moment to catch up here. I think it was about love.
Love. Okay.
How people kind of just miss the point these days.
Okay.
Missed opportunities. It was like the scene changes were so like boop boop boop, jar jar jar, like okay, where am I now? Oh, we're back to this one. Oh wait, now we're on that one. Wait, what is going on now? This is a new thing. I can't handle this.
I'll find it and watch it and explain it to you. How about that?
It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube, so you can totally watch it there. Yeah.
I will find it and then come explain it to you.
There was like a couple scenes that did stick out to me where you have two people who are swiping on their phone. I guess it's some kind of Tinder thing. I have no idea. One of those dating app things where you swipe left or right.
Gotcha.
And they're like right next to each other. And immediately the thought that comes to your head is like, well, why don't they just talk to each other? They're just standing in front of the milk cartons. They're both single, obviously, scrolling through like, hello. And then at one point they do scroll to each other, and I will not reveal the spoilers from that, but I was like, oh, well, no surprise here. So yeah. Yeah, so there's like a few of those things where I'm like, okay, I see kind of what's going on there, but I don't really get the whole concept. Yeah, I'm really too slow for this. Spell it out for me, dang it. I'm trying.
Okay, and then short film live action. We have Alakatsu, Take and Run, The Dress, On My Mind, Please Hold, and the winner, The Long Goodbye.
I didn't see any of those.
Did
you
see
those?
Nope. Did not. Gonna have to go find them.
Interesting titles. I want to
They
watch
do.
them. Alakatsu, Take and Run. Sounds something like an Alibaba thief story kind of thing. Take and Run, huh?
A little bit, yeah. We'll have to find it and see if we're right.
Yeah. Could be metaphorical too.
Could be, yes.
The dress is like, oh wait, the wedding dress? Usually a dress is something important for a prom night or something.
Right.
Yeah. What's going on there?
Okay. And
eventually.
Yes. Next category is sound. So we have Belfast, No Time to Die, The Power of the Dog, West Side Story, and the winner is Dune.
Dune! Of course.
Of course.
Of course. I mean, okay, The Power of the Dog was probably like neck and neck with it. Yeah. Like, okay, West Side Story, it's great music, but you know, it's been around for a while, so we know this.
Well, and even like, and this is more for sound rather than like the music itself. So
yeah. How the sound comes across in the movie.
Yeah.
Dune definitely wins that, but The Power of the Dog for me, I think was very close because the way it affected the entire movie. It's just like, oh, they really made a deep choice on this. It's creepy as heck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's good. Dune, yes. Dune. Okay.
Yep. And then
I'm a nerd.
Let's see. Visual effects is next. So we have Free Guy, No Time to Die, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Spider-Man No Way Home, and the winner is, to no one's surprise probably, Dune. Dune again.
Of course. Yeah. I think Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings was probably up in the runnings on that one. I haven't seen it yet. My brother did, and he's like raving about it. He's like, go watch it. Like, I know, I want to. I really want
to. When we talked about this with CrossCore, I think Shang-Chi, Spider-Man, and Dune were like our three picks out of all of those. And because Spider-Man No Way Home has really good visual effects too. So I think I would have definitely, it would have been a tie for me between Dune and Shang-Chi, and then Spider-Man behind those, just because Shang-Chi definitely has a lot of visual effects that are really well done too.
Yeah. That's definitely no surprise that Dune won, because just the sheer magnitude of that movie. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Eye candy of the best kind. Like The richest chocolate. Thank you very much. Yes. It was so good. Oh gosh. I really want to see Shang-Chi. My brother's been raving about it. He's like, yeah, I gotta watch it. I'm like, damn it. Where do I watch this movie? I didn't get to see it in theaters. Was it even in theaters?
Oh yeah, it was. I think it should be. Let me look. It should be actually on Disney Plus now. Let me see.
Ooh, I'll have to go check that out.
I'm looking to make sure because they have pretty much all of the MCU. I think they have all of the MCU ones now on there. Yeah, it's on Disney Plus.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna go hunt that down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next then is writing adapted screenplay. See, we have Drive My Car, Dune, The Lost Daughter, The Power of the Dog, and the winner is Coda.
I only saw Dune and Power of the Dog. Did you watch the other ones? Drive My Car, Lost Daughter?
Nope.
You didn't watch those yet.
But I can see why Coda would have won, just giving kind of the topic of it and everything. I can see why it would have been chosen.
Yeah, seeing how it won Best Picture too.
Yeah.
It's probably like film, because of like the nature of film is, you know, like there's a lot of audio in it, so probably it's really tricky to portray deaf dialogue, like just ASL dialogue in a movie like that without like dropping the momentum in a film. So they must have done really well with that.
Have you seen A Quiet Place?
No.
It is largely ASL.
Really?
Oh. The premise of it is that there's these creatures that invaded Earth and they are attracted by sound. So throughout a lot of the movie, it's subtitles and sign language so that the characters aren't making noise by talking a lot. And I had
no idea about that movie. That's so cool.
There's a sequel to it that I haven't seen yet, that I really want to. But yeah, A Quiet Place is like that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
It's nice to see that.
It is.
It's like one of my bigger regrets is not learning ASL when I was younger, because I am just struggling to learn anything now. I have to learn Portuguese and I suck at that. So everything else is not going to be easy for me for sure.
Right. Even Korean is a little bit of a struggle for me.
Yeah.
Like I've picked up the Hangul alphabet fine. It's the actual like
using it, practicing
it, speaking it kind of thing, and like learning the vocabulary and everything. Like that's the harder part. But I'm getting there slowly. So
same here. I'll make little headway and then I'll lose the headway because I don't have time, and then I'll make a little more headway and I'll lose it all again because I don't have time. And Duolingo is just staring me down with daggers. Like, I'm sorry, bird.
Right. Memorize is staring me down with daggers right now. So that's the app I use, and it's like you haven't used me in months. Get over here.
How dare you? Like, oh shoot. I'm sorry.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So it's really nice to see more ASL in movies like that. It's like more representation, because it's a whole thing. Yes. Oh my gosh, there was a thing that happened. It was years ago. We went to Six Flags, and I'm just such an oblivious person, and I get like overwhelmed sometimes in public. So I'm standing in line just being overwhelmed and completely phasing out. And there was a kid tapping on my shoulder, and I didn't even notice it for like 2 minutes. And then the poor kid, he was deaf. He was using ASL, and that's why he was tapping on my shoulder. But I'm just like, hello, in my own world. crap. So he wanted to get past me because they were going to go to a different part of the line. And I felt so bad. I'm like, I'm sorry. I had no idea. I'm just like off my own world. Sorry.
I have moments like
Random
that
story.
too. I get overstimulated like that too, where I just block everything
Just
out. So like I feel you on that. Like, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I swear I wasn't ignoring you. I just really totally went to space for a few minutes.
Yep.
Yep. Random story. Kangaroo squirrels again.
Kangaroo
Sorry.
I'm seriously gonna like draw one of those this weekend or something, and that's gonna be our mascot.
I've been wanting to draw one too. I'm like, damn it, I'm gonna sit down and do this.
Right? But then kangaroo squirrels happen and we get distracted.
Exactly.
Come on, pull it together. We only have one category left.
Dang it. Let's get there.
Right. Writing original screenplay as the final category.
All right. And our nominees are
Mhm.
Don't Look Up, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, The Worst Person in the World, and the winner was Belfast. I did not know that was an original screenplay.
I didn't either. For like any of these.
Yes, for any of those. It's like, oh, cool. Interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
No, I will need to watch that. It's got Judi Dench in it. I have to watch it now. So.
Right? You can't go wrong with Dame Judi Dench.
Right? She's just amazing. The Worst Person in the World is just very intriguing. I'm so curious about this movie. Why, who do they give this title to? Because there's quite a few people who would fit that. Right now, just one person is definitely taking the cake there. But
oh, remember
this
was the one that we were talking about with Crosscore, that like it's this this girl's like love life and career path and everything.
Oh yeah.
That we were all like, not so much.
It's such a misleading title. Like,
yeah. I'm guessing they're
falling
calling
for
her
it.
the worst person in the world because she doesn't know like what she's doing with her life and stuff.
Is it maybe it's like a self-criticism kind of thing? I can relate to that.
The synopsis on IMDb says a modern dramedy, so it's a drama comedy, about the quest for love and meaning in contemporary Oslo. It chronicles 4 years in the life of Julie, a young woman who navigates the troubled waters of her love life and struggles to find her career path, leading her to take a realistic look at who she really is.
Huh.
So almost more like a coming of age, but as an adult.
Like
okay.
a not midlife crisis thing, just a I'm growing up thing.
Yeah, it sounds more like it sounds kind of like it's a mix of both, but like almost like she's not old enough for midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The millennial midlife crisis.
It's rated R.
Oh boy.
Well, I don't.
Well, it being
love
European
life,
film, not surprising. If there's romance in it, not surprising. So
good point. Good point.
Yeah. They don't hold back out here. They really don't.
No, they don't.
My husband's like telling me about how when like public television, after the kids are quote unquote supposed to go to bed, when he was a kid, that's when the booby shows would come on. And I'm like, that would not happen in the US unless you were watching on one of the very specific channels where you could see those things. Not public television. So,
right. Yeah, that's pay-per-view here.
Yeah.
Usually, anyway. I'm sure there's probably channels that aren't, but I have no idea.
And now the standards are a bit different, but still, like,
true.
When we were all kids, like, no, that would not happen.
Exactly.
Very different world.
Very, very different.